Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss about conditional formatting and especially how we can use conditional formatting to find out anomaly. Okay, now let's suppose this is stock data. So it has symbols, open price 930, high price 931, high price, and so on. And it has 1 minute interval prices between 9:30 to 3:59 p.m. but I have removed all of those data for this tutorial, but ideally this is easier to showcase the conditional formatting. Okay, so what I want to do is that you can see some of this data says NA, right? So I want to find out all those data which says NA visually. So this is kind of like for observing the data and understanding the data. So that's why I'm using this conditional formatting. So I can select all this data, right? And then I can say conditional format, highlight cell rule, and equals to, and then we can just say NA, and you can see it highlight them right now. So if we just do this, then you can see you can find all those places where it says NA. So that is first thing. Let's suppose I want to find out that if it has some blank or not. Actually, sometimes it has NA, sometimes it has blank. So I want to find out that, and you can see this one is a blank, right? So let's select again. I think it's better to use a formula for this one. So let me just do this. Use formula to determine which cell to highlight, and then you can just pick this first cell, F4, to make it relative, and then let me just use different field color. Okay, that's good. Now we can see that these are blanks, although we have an A instead of a blank, but I can find out that okay, there is some data which says blanks, right? Like these data. So that's how we can find out that if we have a blank or not. So before going forward, I want to specify that this conditional formatting, especially this formula rule, it will highlight the cell only if the formula output is true. So that's why I put this formula that okay, if the length of this A1 text is 0, so that means it's a blank, then highlight with this, right? So when this will apply, it calculate in this way that okay, for this particular range A1 to L1663, it will apply this formula for each cell, and then it will just do like okay, for this first one it will use A1, for the second cell it will use B1, C1, D1, and so on, and it will go up to L1, and then move on the next data, next cell, so A2, and in this way it will go up to L1663. And when I have used A1 with relative references, then it will use each cell addresses. Okay, but if I use fixed references like fixed row number or fixed column number, then it will use that fixed references. So that's the idea when this will highlight and when not. Okay, so that's how you can identify all of those places and understand that okay, maybe this data is wrong, right? So you can see, I think I have seen one data which has blanks in all of this, right? And this one, you can see all of these are blank, right? Now let's suppose I want to find out all of those. I mean, if it's a blank and NA, we'll consider both as the same thing. So we can just change this formula and delete this, and we can edit this formula to include both. So we'll highlight when this length is 0 or A1 equals to, apply this. Now you can see it highlight all of these blank and NS. Okay, you can see this, right? Now let's suppose I want to only highlight those cells which has blanks in all of these H places, like high prices, all of these are blank or N. So how can we do this? So we should build the formula beforehand. Okay, let me try to do something different. So is equals to 0. So false, false, plus this is equals to 1. NA, value error, true. Okay, I get this 1 1 0 0 0 and so on. So let's see, I get this. And false. Okay, so let's try this. Change this, change this. There's a dollar sign here, dollar sign. Okay, so let me just copy this again. Conditional format. Again, conditional format, manage rule, edit rule, and let's try this. Okay, so you can see that I can find out all of these symbols which has all NA or all blanks. I can do filtering as well by color. So filtering and filter by color, use this. So you can see that we can find out all of those symbols which has all NAs or blank for all of this time frame, right? So you can see we can find out all of these anomalies in the data set using conditional format. Let's say we want to find out that, okay, when these two prices are same, like 930H and 931H prices are same, sometimes the stock open, right, but the price doesn't change. So that means actually not trading and that in that particular time frame. So what we can do, we can add a new conditional formatting. So we can build the formula. Okay, so basically the formula is this one equal this one, right? And we need to fix this column. So I'll just use F4, select that and press F4. It will go like this. So let's see, conditional format, manage rule, let's say new rules, formula, and let's use 1. This is red. Let me just do something. Up to L. So it's a false. C2 and D2 are same. No, it's not. If it's same, then I want to highlight that. So let me delete that old one, S1. Apply this. Check the rules again. What the hell? C1 D1. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so you can see it highlight all of this, but the problem is that it's highlighting NA as well. So I can update my formula to exclude those NA. So I can say and C1 is not equals to NA. So if it's equal, then that means D1 is also going to be NA. So ideally we are excluding that. And now you can see I can filter out by color, and you can see all of this. So 22.5, 22.5, and 17, 17, 141, 9.6, 9.6, you know, in this way. You can see 16.35, 16.35, and in this way you can find all of these symbols. There are 61 symbol which doesn't trade in the first minute. Okay, so we can find out that, okay, if there is any trade which doesn't trade in the first 3 minutes or something like that. I don't think that we have that, but let's see. 10.45, 16.56. Let's update the formula. That will be easier. So conditional format, manage rule, edit rule. Now what I want to do, I want to include another condition, and that is D1 is going to be equals to E1, right? And apply this. So now let's see, filter by color. There are, okay, so you can see 29.31, 29.31, 29.31, right? 4.63, 4.63, 4.63. So there are 6 symbols which doesn't trade in the first 2 minute segment. Okay, so in this way we can find out all of these data that, okay, we have anomalies in these symbols, like it's not trading in the first 3 symbols. And this is really helpful when we want to try to understand the data, or we want to check our calculation that is not expected. So like we are expecting that the price will change for each time frame, doesn't matter how many cents, but it should be changed. But when I see in this section, then I can say, okay, it doesn't change in the first 2 minute segment. Maybe I can add another conditional formatting to check that if we have a fixed price on first 4 minute segment, instead of 2 minutes, you can see for this example. So I can just add another conditional formatting. So actually I can do something different here. So I can update the formula. I want to check that this is equals to this 3. So we'll get like this. So first cell will match with the first cell of this. So D2, D2, F2, C2, E2, right? So D will match with C, E will match with D, and F will match with E, right? That's the idea. And that's one thing. Another is the first one is not equals to NA, like this. So F4, F4, F4. Okay, start with 1. Okay, so let's add this as a conditional format. Let's see. Let's find out. And you can see we have one symbol which doesn't trade in the first 4 minute segment, right? So it's become 8.68, 8.68, 8.68, and 8.68. It has 8.68 at 9:34 as well, but we can add conditional formatting as we want and as we need to find out anomalies. It depends on the business case, but I guess you get the idea that how can we find out all of those anomalies in the data set using conditional formatting and filtering the data to see that how these are affecting the data. So that's it for this video. If you have any question for conditional formatting, feel free to comment out in my videos. I'll try to answer that. Have a good day.